Good morning, Enid. It is Thursday, November 15th, which means it's a week away from Thanksgiving, ready or not. It's a cold Thursday morning. Thank you for joining us. We're at 28 degrees right now. Encourage you to grab a cup of coffee and join us for the next 30 minutes because we have a very special guest, the Lady in Red. And also we have news, weather, sports. Erin's here. We're ready to go. We are live streaming around the globe, and so we want to say hi to all of our friends of Good Morning Enid that are watching us from around the globe this morning. And we're coming to you live and in high definition on channel 112 here on Enid local cable system. This is Good Morning Enid. It's good to see you. It is time to rise and shine.
Good morning, Enid. Thank you so much for joining us again today. It is a little bit chilly out there, about 28 degrees right now, but let's see if it's going to warm up later today. It looks like it is going to get up to a high of 43 later on, mainly sunny skies, which is definitely always nice, and a low tonight of 29 degrees. So overall, I would say it's really nice weather right now, sunny and 43 degrees out.
And if you live in Minnesota, you break out the shorts when it's 43 degrees, right?
Your nice winter shorts.
Don't forget, Erin's from the North Country, so this is just really summer weather to her.
It is.
At 7:31 on this Thursday, let's look at the three-day forecast because we've got fall festivals, we have preparation for the holidays, high school playoff and college, and just a busy time. So you can see, looks like we're going to reside in the 50s for most of the weekend. However, I keep hearing about a cold front coming down late Saturday night, early Sunday, so you can kind of see the 10-degree difference there, and then it gets all the way down to 24. So typical November weather in Oklahoma. So our very special guest to talk about diabetes this morning is Linda Yauk, correct?
Correct.
Linda, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you.
And you got to earn your keep, so we're going to have you do a little weather segment. We'll talk about diabetes here in a little bit later on. But on this day in history, Linda, we have this segment. We'd like to go back in history and find out how cold and how warm it was. So can you tell us how hot it was in 1999?
Well, in 1999, it was 80 degrees on this day in November the 15th. That was the high, record high. A record low was 12 degrees in 1940.
Thank you very much. And every time we put that up there, to me, that is so evident of Oklahoma's weather.
Right.
It could be 80 degrees on this particular day, or it could be minus 12 or whatever. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to visiting with you. And, of course, you're representing Integris.
Yes.
So we'll talk more about that in just a few moments. Okay, 7:33, and breakfast time, lunchtime.
Oh, breakfast time for us, but we should look at what the kids are going to be having for lunch later on today. Always fun to hear about what those kids. Oh, no school menu this week?
So they have wow butter.
We can just make it up.
We'll just make it up.
Pizza today, I think.
Anyway, chances are
Milk.
Yeah, pizza and milk.
Milk will be there. We have our registered dietitian with us, so what is the ideal, put you on the spot here,
Okay.
While we make up our menu, what's your thoughts on the
Oh, wait, we have menus now.
Oh.
we don't need those now. We already got what we want to go with. Okay, Penn, thanks.
Saved by the menu.
Oh, we're having turkey today, so no pizza.
Okay.
Darn, I guess that's what I'm eating. Mashed potatoes, green beans, hot roll and mixed fruit, pumpkin cake, and milk. So it looks like they're having Thanksgiving lunch today.
A week early?
Yeah, a week early. And then tomorrow we're having grilled cheese, tomato soup, broccoli, apple slices, and milk. I like both of those days.
Yeah,
I'd probably go both days.
Yeah, based on the menu, I'll go to school both days, today and tomorrow. And I think most schools are out all next week, so it's incredible. So, all right, Erin, thank you for the school menu. All right, it's 7:34, and again, thank you for joining us for show number 195, and we're working on a very special 200th show for you at the end of the year, so we want to kind of tease you a little bit about that. All right, it's time to find out the news and sports. I believe the Thunder won overnight, and we always turn to one person, one individual to help us get us updated on everything, and that's Derrick Silas. He's the bow tie guy, and he has the Oklahoma Minute.
The 2018 wildfire season in California has been one of the most destructive on record, which has had over 7,500 fires burning over 1.6 million acres. The death toll is continually rising on the current fire. Tomorrow is the state of Oklahoma's birthday, or Statehood Day. In 1907, Oklahoma was added to the Sisterhood of States and became the 46th star on the United States flag. The name Oklahoma comes from the Choctaw words Okla and Huma, meaning red people. The state is known for having the largest American Indian population and its tornadic weather, among other things. Last night, sports, Thunder played the New York Knicks with a win in Oklahoma City's favor, 128-103. Tomorrow they'll go up against Phoenix at 8 p.m. It will air on Fox Sports Oklahoma. Saturday, Oklahoma State, which is currently 5-5 overall, will play West Virginia at 2:30 p.m. in Stillwater. It will air on ABC. And this has not been a good season for Tulsa University. They have only won 2 games thus far, with only one being in their conference. They will play the Navy at 2:30 p.m. in Maryland. It will air on CBS Sports. The University of Oklahoma, which is 9-1 overall and 6-1 in the Big 12 Conference, will play Kansas in Norman at 6:30 p.m. It will air on Fox. And on this day in history, in 1867, the first stock ticker is unveiled in New York City, revolutionizing the stock market by making up-to-the-minute prices available to investors around the country. And that's the Oklahoma Minute.
Very good. Thank you, Derrick. It's 7:36, holding steady at 28 degrees. And if you're working on your selection for the wardrobe today, it's going to be, as Erin said earlier, low in the about 43 degrees. So it's going to be rather chilly today, so keep that in mind. If you have any photos that you want to send us from your Thanksgiving event or a high school football playoff event, you can send it to our Holsteins at gme@enid.org. They've been there for a number of years, always checking the mailbox for us. Again, you can send your photos, gme@enid.org. And I think we have a photo today of a pet that, I'm trying to figure that one out. All I know that they're in the right spot. They're closest to the fireplace. So there's your family pet. Anyway, we appreciate that photo. gme@enid.org is where you want to send your pictures. Okay, we got to move along this morning for a quick 30 minutes. And to find out what's happening, we always turn to Erin. So, what's happening?
There is a lot of holiday events going on since we're approaching Thanksgiving and Christmas. So starting us off is the Home for the Holidays Home and Garden Craft and Gift Show, which is this Saturday and Sunday from 9 to 6 on Saturday and 11 to 5 on Sunday at the Chisholm Trail Expo Center. It is $5 for admission at the door, and it's free for 12 and under. There's going to be over 125 vendors and craft vendors showing off all of their gifts for home and garden and for the holidays. So if you're looking for any homemade gifts or just any type of gift, since it's about the holiday season, this is definitely an event that you should check out. And then on Thanksgiving, we have the Turkey Trot 5K and 1 mile fun run. It starts at 7:30 a.m. If you're looking to burn off a few calories before you eat that Thanksgiving lunch or dinner, this is definitely something to go to. I know I probably need to do this before Thanksgiving. It's at the corner of Heritage Trail and Willow. It is $30 for the 5K, $20 for the fun run, and all proceeds are going to be benefiting for our kids. And then we have Christmas in the Park, which is Saturday, November 24th, and it runs from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Meadow Lake Park. It is hosted by the City of Enid Parks and Rec Department. And there's going to be food, entertainment. It is free. You can have free pics with Santa. There's going to be letters to Santa, cookie decorating, ornament making. So there's going to be all different kinds of events going on in this Christmas in the Park. So if you want an event to bring the kids to, this is definitely a really great one. And finally, there's Enid Lights Up the Plains in downtown Enid next Friday, November 23rd from 5 to 7:30. It's the 25th year of doing this. And they're going to have live Christmas music, horse-drawn wagons, and fireworks. So if you want to kick off the Christmas season, this is your event. And that's what's happening.
And it's 7:39, and before I forget, I want to say special thanks to our friends at Dillard's in the Women's Department for providing the wardrobe for Erin here on Good Morning Enid. So thanks again to the Women's Department out at Dillard's, out at the mall. Our very special guest is Linda Yauk. She is a registered dietitian, also educator. What's the term on the educator? Certified educator.
Diabetes educator.
Right, and she's representing Integris Bass Diabetes Center. Before we get into our interview, Linda, tell us about the video we're about to see. We've got the puppy dogs. What is that video all about?
Okay.
We'll show it in just a second.
Sure. First, I want to say thank you for allowing me to come on and represent Integris. It's an honor to increase people's knowledge about diabetes. And really, the video is about pre-diabetes. 1 in 3 of us, could be one of us in this room, is actually, could be diagnosed with pre-diabetes. And this is just a fun video that you could easily determine, am I one of those individuals? So it's just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and if your number comes to 5 or greater, then you possibly could have pre-diabetes.
Okay, so that's our topic this morning at 7:40. We'll be right back after we watch the puppy dogs. Good morning, Enid. Again, thank you for joining us on this Thursday, November 15th, working our way to a warm 43 degrees today, 7:41. Our very special guest, Linda Yauk, representing Integris Bass Diabetes Center. Linda is a registered dietitian, as we said a few moments ago, and a certified diabetes educator. So again, welcome. One of the key reasons you're here is I understand that November is Diabetes Awareness Month, so thank you for being here. And we've got a whole bunch of questions, and here we go.
Okay, great.
Starting us off, I know a lot of people don't know a ton about diabetes, at least I don't, but I have heard of type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about the differences between those two?
Sure. Diabetes, type 1 and type 2, the same end result for all, but definitely a different treatment modality. Type 1 is actually an autoimmune disease, where the body sees the part of the pancreas that produces insulin as foreign, like a virus, and it goes down and it destroys that part of the pancreas, and so the body is no longer able to produce enough insulin, if any at all. And so those individuals with type 1, which is only about 5% of all the people with diabetes, require insulin to live. And it's my job to kind of teach them to think like a pancreas. They have to replace the insulin that their body would normally release when they eat a meal. And so that requires lots of different injections and monitoring blood sugars. And luckily, we've come a long ways with technology and tools to make it a lot easier to manage type 1. Type 2 is definitely the more common type of diabetes. It is hereditary, as our bow tie man was saying. We have a lot of Native Americans, people of color, and Native Americans have a disproportional high risk for type 2 diabetes. So that's a big population here in Oklahoma. So it's more of an insulin resistance issue, where our body produces the insulin, but it's just not working effectively. And that kind of is brought on sometimes, a lot of times, by our lifestyles, like the puppy that wouldn't get up, that was inactive. That's really kind of the number one thing that really causes our insulin to not be as working to do the job that it should do. And so it becomes this negative snowball. So then our bodies are resistant to the insulin our body's producing, and that causes our pancreas to produce more insulin, thinking, oh, the more I produce, then that will help keep my sugar level at a safe range. So then our body produces all this extra insulin, and insulin is a fat storage hormone. So then we start to accumulate extra fat. So it's very easy to put on weight, and particularly weight in the middle. And sometimes people are just like, oh, I just must be eating more, or I'm getting older. They just kind of blow off that the scale has continued to rise throughout the years. And that could really be a precursor saying, you know, you have insulin resistance, which is the hallmark of type 2 diabetes.
Linda, in preparation for this morning's visit, I did just brief research, and it said around 30 million people have diabetes. So how big a problem is it? We have a population in the U.S. of 350 million, I think, something close to that. So 30 million have it. Sounds significant problem to me.
Right, right. It is a big issue. It's the underlying cause. And it's not really just diabetes. This is kind of like a really big pet peeve of mine. You hear, oh, diabetes, it's the number1 leading cause of amputation, blindness, and kidney disease. And it's not diabetes, it's unmanaged diabetes.
Okay.
If a
That
person,
makes sense.
if a person can keep their diabetes managed, meaning keeping their levels within a safe range for blood pressure and cholesterol and sugar, they're not at any increased risk for issues than someone who doesn't have diabetes. But a lot of times people are walking around and don't know they have elevated blood sugars until they have a heart attack, and then they're like, oh, you've had diabetes, and probably have had it for several years. And so that's really where the health implication comes, is people just didn't know they had high blood sugar, and these 30 million are people that actually know it. There's thought to be a lot more. 1 in 3 having pre-diabetes, having those very beginning stages of type 2 diabetes that don't even know it. So it is a significant health issue, and we are less active as a nation, and we are getting larger because just several factors. So it is a health issue for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned pre-diabetes a few times, and you gave us that cute video of the dogs with the pre-diabetes test.
Right.
Is that the only way to take the test? Is it just those few questions, or should you go see the doctor to take the pre-diabetes test?
Well, that's just an easy way to kind of get the message out, is like, hey, you know, yeah, I had five of those risk factors. But yes, the doctor can actually run a blood test, a couple of different blood tests to determine if your sugar levels have been elevated for the previous 2 to 3 months, a test called a hemoglobin A1C, or they can just do a fasting blood sugar test in the office or at the lab. And after two tests that show that your numbers are above this considered to be safe range, then that would be a diagnosis of prediabetes. Depending on where it falls, there's the normal range, and then there's a range that's pre-diabetes, and then above that is actual diagnosis of diabetes.
Our special guest this morning on Good Morning Enid at 7:48 is Linda Yauk. Linda is representing Integris Bass Diabetes Center. She's a registered dietitian and also a certified diabetes educator. Linda, can type 2 diabetes, I guess it can be delayed or prevented. I guess the better word, it can be managed.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Right.
And 2 ways to manage it. There was probably 20, but what would be 2 quick
Right,
ways, real quick?
Great. Well, that's so. With all this people developing diabetes, Congress was enacted. Said, hey, can we do something to help people not develop type 2 diabetes? So CDC did lots of different research and showed that yes, type 2 diabetes could be delayed and prevented for up to at least 10 years, cut the risk by at least 50%, and weight loss, and not a significant amount of weight loss that first year, 5 to 7% weight loss, and maintaining that weight loss throughout the years was one huge area. And then the second was accumulating 150 minutes of physical activity a week, not a day, but a week. So those we feel like are really 2 realistic things that we could do, losing 5 to 7% of our body weight and exercising 150 minutes a week to delay that onset. Because once you develop diabetes, it becomes burdensome in many ways. So.
This is all too familiar because it seems like for many health conditions we have, we lose weight, let's be active, and let's eat right, and that just covers a lot of things.
It
So,
does.
well,
It does.
we'll be back with our special guest, Linda Yauk, in just a few moments. It's 7:50, and as the morning's going quickly, a week away from Thanksgiving.
I can't believe it.
So-
It's going too quickly. And if you missed it earlier, we have one guy who has all the information about the news, weather, and sports, and that is Derrick Silas, the bow tie guy.
Thank you, Erin. The 2018 wildfire season in California has been one of the most destructive on record, which has had over 7,500 fires burning. The death toll is continually rising on the current fire. Tomorrow is the state of Oklahoma's birthday. In 1907, it was added to the Sisterhood of States and became the 46th star on the United States flag. The state is known for having the largest American Indian population, its tornadic weather, and other factors. Last night, Thunder played the New York Knicks with a win in Oklahoma City's favor, 128-103. Tomorrow, they'll go up against Phoenix at 8 p.m. Saturday, Oklahoma State, which is currently 5-5 overall, will play West Virginia at 2:30 p.m. in Stillwater. Tulsa University will go up against the Navy at 2:30 p.m. in Maryland. It will air on CBS Sports. And the University of Oklahoma will go up against Kansas in Norman at 6:30 p.m. It will air on Fox. In 1867, on this date in history, the first stock ticker is unveiled in New York City, revolutionizing the stock market by making up-to-the-minute prices available to investors around the country. That's the Oklahoma Minute. Now here's Kevin Boryczki from the Central National Bank Center to tell us about upcoming events.
Welcome inside the Central National Bank Center. I'm the general manager, Kevin Boryczki, and as you can see behind us, we're getting ready for a really cool event. There's American flags on every seat in the building, and we're getting ready for Celebrate America, a really cool event where there's going to be some awesome music from the church clergy, men and women, and we're also going to be honoring a bunch of veterans tonight as well. So a really cool event, and it's free to the public. So come on down, check it out. Starts at 6:30, doors open at 5:30. As we know, it's a big facility, but a limited amount of seats, so get here early as it is a free event, but a really cool event tonight, celebrating America. A great way to tie in some of the local churches in the area with the wood ring wall of honor, and a great way to kind of continue celebrating Veterans Day and honoring our veterans here in Enid, Oklahoma. So look forward to seeing everyone tonight at this free event at the Central National Bank Center. It's a busy November. Right after this event tonight, our poor operations crew, they got to flip this whole facility to set up for basketball because we have the Chick-fil-A NOC Classic coming in here. So it's going to be a busy weekend of basketball. Basketball season's kicking off already. It's amazing to think that Thanksgiving's only a week away. And then speaking of that, right after Thanksgiving, we get even busier. Paw Patrol coming Tuesday, November 27th and Wednesday, November 28th for 3 shows. Probably the hottest family show out there right now. So we have Paw Patrol live right here at the Central National Bank Center. And then we get a break for a day, and then the day after, November 30th, a Friday night, we have Gary Allen. He was one of the acts that pretty much opened up this facility. 5 years later, he's coming back in a really, really entertaining, high-energy country act, and that's going to be on November 30th. Tickets start at $39 for that. And then our holiday show's coming up December 5th. Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin Brothers Country and Christmas, a really awesome show. We're saving you the trip to go to see them in Branson. You can see them right here in Enid, Oklahoma. They're going to put on a great show. I've spoken with them. They said the first act, I believe, is going to be their hits. The second act is going to be the Christmas music. It's going to be a ton of fun, a really cool night. And if you want to do dinner and a show, we're doing a prime rib dinner buffet beforehand for only $22.50. You can add that on to the price of your ticket and have dinner and a show. It's going to be a really fun night, and that's December 5th. A lot going on here at the Central National Bank Center, and more to come that we haven't even talked about for 2019, but we'll fill you in on that in a couple weeks. Until next time, I'm Kevin Boryczki, and we'll send it back into the studio with you, Steve.
Thank you, Kevin. Good job. It's 7:54 on this Thursday, November 15. And let's see what the Perry Maroons are doing. Let's check into Friday Night Lights. This is probably the second week in the high school playoffs, and I don't see the Perry Maroons on there at all. Golly. my poor Maroons. Anyway, Morrison, where my sister lives, boy, they're so proud of their team there. They're going to travel to Stroud. But you can see closer to home, Chisholm's at Adair, and then Burns Flat at Pioneer. So the playoffs are happening, so I encourage people to get out and support the high school teams. Let's take a look, Erin, real quick with the 3-day weather. as people are making plans for this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty nice for Friday and Saturday. It looks like they're in the 50s. Sunday, it is getting a little cooler in the 40s with lows in the 30s and 20s. So overall, Friday and Saturday are days to go outside if you have to go outside. But overall, pretty nice.
Okay. The city offices will be closed for Thanksgiving Day next Thursday. However, the landfill will be open if you are on Friday from 7 a.m. to 2 o'clock. So keep that in mind. Pretty much everything is closed Thursday, Friday, but the landfill will be open if you're cleaning up things from 7 to 2. And that's next holiday weekend. Had the privilege to talk to individuals about Operation Christmas Child. It's the little shoe box. You fill the shoe box up and it's sent around the globe. It's one way to provide a Christmas gift for kids all across the globe. That interview is coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Okay, quickly as we move along, we're going to be talking
About my favorite section.
and the pet's name is?
His name is Pilgrim, and he's a dog, and it's very holiday. She's very good at picking holiday names. So here's Charlotte with Pilgrim.
Hi, good morning. Today we have Pilgrim. Pilgrim is in Penn 14. She is a 1-year-old Catahoula mix, and she is very playful and looking for a new home. So come by and meet Pilgrim today. Oh, you're looking for this. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Good girl, yeah.
Charlotte always does a great job for us and all the individuals at Animal Control. It's almost 7:57 on this Thursday, and Linda Yauk is our special guest. And our next question is for Linda.
Yeah, so I have one more question for you about, so we've talked a lot about how it physically can cost you to have diabetes, but what about like medical costs and lost wages? Are those pretty common with diabetes?
Yes, definitely. 2 to 3 times more is spent for the individual who actually develops diabetes, an average of about $17,000 annually a year more for medical costs. So prevention is key.
Linda, I noticed in the research for our show this morning that Integris Bass is one of 5 nationally recognized programs in the state.
Yes.
That's impressive. So tell us we've got about 30 seconds to tell us about that.
Okay, well, great. Yes, we're one of 5 to actually be able to offer a diabetes prevention program. We started that about 3 years ago, and we want to get the word out that that is a program that Integris does offer. I can come to businesses and work with your employees for diabetes prevention. It's an evidence-based program. We have some really, really good outcomes, and we just would love to be able to offer that to people. We're going to start a new series in January, so we'll keep you posted on that.
And I wasn't looking, Linda, but did we have your contact information on the screen, or was there a graphic for that? There we go. There you are.
Yes.
Okay. So give Linda a call at that number. And you said in January you start a new...
We'll start a new series
Okay.
of sessions.
All right. Okay. Well, that was a quick 30 minutes, wasn't it, Linda?
It flew by.
It flew by. Linda Yauk is our special guest here on Good Morning Enid. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the information, and we'll hope folks will reach out to you. Happy Thanksgiving. It's
Well,
gonna
happy
be-
Thanksgiving to you guys,
and,
too.
So happy
Appreciate it.
Thanksgiving, everyone. And Erin's job to send us off. So happy Thanksgiving,
Thank
Erin.
you. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend and happy holidays.